supporters, who called themselves, quote, Democrats, were rabid. They treated Jackson like a rock star. For the next 3 years, Jackson's support grew and grew. His supporters, also called Jacksonians, won more seats in Congress in the 1826 elections. Meanwhile, the Jacksonians criticized John Quincy Adams for seemingly everything. Their criticism peaked after Adams signed into law the Tariff of 1828, which increased tariff rates above 60%. Critics called it the Tariff of Abominations, as it ended up hurting the economy of several southern states. Needless to say, a distinct shift developed. Southerners began to largely support Jackson, while support for Adams was mostly only in northern states. President Adams was renominated by the endorsement of multiple state legislatures and partisan rallies. There was no caucus for his nomination either. Supporters of Adams called themselves National Republicans. Secretary of the Treasury Richard Rush officially ran as Adams' running mate. Wait, what the heck? Wasn't John Calhoun his vice president? Well, yes, but Calhoun had decided to run for re-election as Jackson's running mate, interestingly enough. Both campaigns were incredibly nasty. Mudslinging was frequent, and Andrew Jackson was certainly an easy target. I mean, the man was involved in the slave trade, participated in the massacre of Indians, and had murdered multiple men in duels. However, things got particularly nasty when supporters of Adams started talking trash about Jackson's wife, Rachel. They even said Jackson's mom was a prostitute, so it got personal. People also said vicious things about Adams, saying he had surrendered an American girl to the Russian Tsar when he was the minister to Russia, and that he had used public funds to buy gambling devices, which turned out to be just a chess set and a pool table. By 1828, pretty much all white men could vote, and nearly every state chose its electors through popular vote. Jackson supporters organized a remarkable grassroots campaign that took advantage of this and brought out many first-time voters. Jackson and supporter Martin Van Buren took this campaign and created the modern Democratic Party, a fitting title, as true democracy was actually becoming more of a reality. And here are the results. Andrew Jackson got his revenge, winning the election and becoming the 7th president of the United States. He received 178 electoral votes and won 56% of the popular vote. John Quincy Adams received 83 electoral votes, getting 43.6% of the popular vote. Adams won almost the exact same states his dad did in the election of 1800. John Calhoun was re-elected vice president, becoming the second of 2 vice presidents to serve under 2 different presidents. Jackson's election officially signaled a political movement toward a greater voice for the common man, known as Jacksonian democracy. Historians also call the election of 1828 the beginning of the second party system, as 2 new political parties, the Democratic Party and a new party called the Whig Party, would dominate American politics for the next 26 years. Tragically, Rachel Jackson became ill and died shortly after the election. She had been having chest pains throughout the campaign and was deeply upset by the personal attacks directed at her and her husband. After her death, Jackson accused the Adams campaign of causing her to die. After the results of the election were announced, a large mob entered the White House, damaging lots of stuff in it while doing so and horrifying Adams and his staff, who had escaped through the back door. Large punch bowls were set up to lure the crowd back outside. On March 4th, 1829, after Jackson was sworn in as president, Jackson again opened the White House to the public, and it turned into a crazy, huge party with more than 20,000 people showing up. This was a perfect example of how the times had dramatically changed. John Quincy Adams had represented the old status quo, the last of the aristocratic, elitist, and dignified of the presidents. Jackson, on the other hand, represented the new guard, the working class, dirty, smelly, average Joe, ready to take the country for